you better walk it down before I choke you out. Or I choke you out, dot fingers, the bar guard, walking through hell, stepping on you under guards. I stay Brooklyn, 24/7, spit raw with the method, ripping all your intestines. I got flows you can't parallel, moving over beaches like a parasail, leave your head spinning like a carousel. King of monsters, and none of y'all can fuck with us, we fuck shit up. 12 days fucking your whole function.
Say what you say, these bitches got nothing for me, so fucking phony. Listen, honey, stick to what you know. Oh, I flame throw, break them down for real. Slice open and kill, no chill, stomach spill. Watch me make a mess of ya. They looking for the rest of ya. Your light work for my life work. What's your life work? Lane switching, get you missing. This here's no competition. Speak it into fruition. Perfect self-division with no visions. Every shot is hitting.
Embrace my demons, check off in my hands and slap you in your face with my semen. Always scheming, catch you slipping on my come up like gun buck. You get touched, you get hit, it's duck hunt. Listen, 8-bit spit, nigga in half, you get split. Pull up, knock you down, mopping off in my black car, I call it hit. This night rider, put this whole fucking clip right inside your brain in your back out your chest. Rock, sneak up right behind you. It's hurting, see the whites of his eyes. Glock squirting, turn your situation critical. Needing care that's urgent. Don't beg my pardon, activate me. I get to start and shit that I have family members in black clothes missing dearly departed.
Greetings, salutations. Welcome. I think I tagged this video incorrectly. I'm gonna have to fix that later. I think I said I tagged the video the 13th. Today is actually the 14th of August, 2024. I am TNathan, and you're listening to Conversations with TNathan on the GCPR network and across all my social medias, except X. And I will be back on X this weekend. Well, Monday. Probably Monday. I might be back on tomorrow. I might. Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt I'll do the 15th. But anyway, how are you all doing? How is everybody doing? What's good, Frank? Today is the 14th of August, and we are us. We are us. I hope all of y'all had a good day. How do I sound out there? Am I clear to everybody? You know, this is the thing. I realize, like, either I'm going to be late because I'm black, or I am going to want to experiment with everything 5 minutes before I have to go live. Yeah, 5 minutes before I have to go live, I'd be like, I wonder what this will do if I do it. And then it's like, oh, well, I'm stuck with it until I go live. So how you all doing out there? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. You're listening to Conversations with TNathan, as I said. If you're out there in Radio Land, GCPR, hey, thank you for taking opportunity to listen to us outside of the United States or inside the United States. And for all of you all listening, we are in app development. We are in the testing phase of the app right now. We are testing it, and as soon as it becomes available, I will get it out to you all so you all can listen without having to go to the website. Just click on the app at the appropriate time, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, and you could hear yours truly conversate. Yeah. Do you care if I stay? I'm really fond of your content. Please stay. You're welcome. Please stay. Why would I not want you to stay? Yeah, I do not mind. I like the exchange. We're, we got to get this hour in on the radio. I'm going to get that in. But I'm going to try not to cuss. It's probably going to fail. This is going to be an epic fail. But yeah, welcome. Everyone's welcome. So let's talk about first. I had something else to talk about first, but like I say, it's always like 5 minutes before I go live, and I say, hey, I want to talk about this also. So it's on my mind. Let's talk about the data breach. Today, a lot of people were notified of a data breach that occurred in April that involved 2.7 billion records. And yeah, I'm gonna talk about it from a professional point of view. We're going to talk about it, what it means, what it doesn't mean, and how you protect yourself in the interim. Because understand, people have a misconception thinking this is 2.7 million billion people. It's 2.7 billion records. All right, and this affects people in the United States, UK, and Canada. We know that much. It affects those people. So these are 2.7 billion records. And in these records, it says that, like I say, this is from April. Remember, this happened in April. It's just making the rounds because people are seeing it on the dark web. And a group known as USDOD takes responsibility for this breach. Now, USDOD, if you remember, in December of last year, 2023, they were linked to another breach of information, and they were trying to hold it ransom for this company named InfraGard. And they had breached them, and they were like, they wanted $50,000 to not leak the information. So that's where we are now. That's the group that was associated with that. And I don't know. They say InfraGard didn't pay, but I think they did because the information didn't get leaked. So come up to now, and the same organization, USDO, is taking responsibility for the leaking of 2.7 billion records onto the dark web. Now, they're released onto the dark web, and they're unencrypted. That's the thing. See, they were usually encrypted records. You gotta have an encryption key to get into them, but they just flooded the dark web with this almost 277 bytes of information, 277 gigabytes, which is about 2.7 billion records, right? And in these records, let me tell you what's in the records and what's not in the record. Each record consists of the following information: a person's name, mailing address, and social security number. And some of the records include information like AKAs, BKAs, also known as, and none of this data was encrypted. Understand, there was another data leak that included um, telephone numbers and home addresses that had happened earlier this year also. So let's talk about it and get your input about what you believe, what you think you should do for yourself, and how do you protect yourself in this situation. Number one, breathe. Number one, I know every data breach is like they're written like they're adventure stories with like Michael Bay wrote every one of the articles you're going to read about these data breaches in this time and age. But I remind you all, it's not, I mean, most, if we talk about social security numbers and security of social security numbers, that's not the end all be all. And a lot of us have that are older, our social security numbers are on some paper in a file cabinet in a company that doesn't even exist anymore. You can get more information off of some of those records than you're going to get in a data breach. But we give this information out freely anyway. We give this information out freely in this day and age. We give it to basically anybody who asks for it. You know, any company that asks for it, we're typing away to give our home address, our credit card numbers, our personal data to get a Google account. So understand that's first and foremost. 2.7 billion records. Think about the amount of time it would take to go through 2.7 billion records. And then understand that you could go through records, put something together, and the person doesn't have the credit score necessary to do what you want to do. So, and in this day and age, a lot of people are maxed out on their credit anyway. My thing is, from my perspective, this is too much information. This is too much information to believe that this attack or this leak was the primary objective. I think personally, as somebody who's known people who have hacked in the past, um, sometimes they do it just to prove they can. They do it just to prove they can, and so therefore it makes it into the lexicon and all that. And then if you grow up in the hood, you know that there are 7 year olds walking around with $50,000 in debt. Yeah, they're 7 years old walking with $50,000 in debt because their parents have used their personal information to open up accounts for them. And I actually consider it the fault of the person that allowed the account to be open, because you can always see, you have a social security verifier, and you can see when the social security number was issued. And if somebody like in their 40s, 30s even come to you and open up an account, and you do a check on the account, and you be like, hey, this social security number is only 7 years old, maybe that should be a red flag to not open up said account for them. Yeah, that's what I would do. That's how I would interpret it. But of course, um, they don't. Also understand that just because your information has been leaked doesn't mean you will necessarily become the victim of some kind of cyber crime. Possible, but and then you have to say, what kind of cyber crime are you going to be responsible? Now, I'm going to talk about the ways to protect yourself against the financial cyber crimes first, but I'm also going to talk about the ways that this information will be used that is more insidious in this election year than I think that most people are giving it credit for or thinking about. First things first, contact the three credit agencies and freeze your account if you're that worried about your information being leaked. You can put a freeze on your accounts with Experian, Transworld, and Equifax. Equifax. you can put a freeze on all inquiries or on all loans that they could possibly offer. And I recommend you do that if you're that worried. You think your credit score, your credit might have been compromised in any way, shape, or form, or anybody is going to use your data. Yeah, do that. Yeah, 2.7 billion. If you think that that's a possibility, contact the three credit agencies and make sure you put just a freeze. Now, what's going to happen is if you decide that you want to do something, you're going to have to remember to unfreeze your account. But your credit accounts can be frozen, and 98% of all checks are going to run through those three agencies. All right. So that's the first line of defense. Monitor your credit for anything that happens, or anything you didn't do, and report it immediately. I recommend monitoring your credit once a month at least, and maybe you want to monitor it a little more this during this credit breach period. Um, but monitor it. Anything you did not agree to, make sure you notify people immediately that yeah, I didn't do this. This is not me. I don't live. Um, I don't live in Wayflung, Alaska. Yeah, I don't live in Wayflung, Alaska. But the more insidious part of this to me now in this election season is that I don't think I was telling somebody earlier. I say this number, the very sheer number of this is too large for me to believe in widespread. Somebody in a room in Nigeria or Russia is trying to steal $200 or $300 out your account. Yeah, no, that's yeah, that's not going to happen on a massive level that people are stealing, a couple of dollars out of your account, and shipping it to China or Russia or some country in Africa or India. Most likely, this breach, for me, I see it more insidiously. I see in election seasons when we worry about election interference, and you all know, if you all remember the 2016 election, 2020 election, and even now with the Trump campaign saying that they have been hacked and documents have been leaked, I feel more of that will happen than somebody is going to open up a financial account and try to drain your life savings of $2.50. I wish somebody would try to hack my account and drain my life savings. I'd be like, oh, I get to sue somebody, and maybe I get more life savings than I had when they started. Um, so that's the insidious nature of this. We're in an election year, and we are going to see a lot of bots being created, a lot of misinformation being spread, a misinformation campaign that we're going to see that I think is more likely because of this than I do saying that people are going to be at their bank withdrawing all their money and putting it in a mattress for the next couple of months, right? Um, so remember, pay attention to where you get your information from. Pay attention to it. question it, new accounts. My thing is, don't listen to people who don't give sources for the information, or that you have not become and acquainted with on that level of being an accurate source. Stop listening to people that um, behind a blind account. Yeah, these are ways you can protect yourself from misinformation that I feel is more insidious than thinking that your bank account is going to be drained in the morning. Yeah, I think that's more of the threat. So, especially when we have so much misinformation that is coming out and being used and weaponized, and I'll see people. I spend a lot of time trolling far right individuals on X, and I see them sharing misinformation that they got from somewhere else and running with it. Um, like the AI generated crowds at Kamala Harris rallies. It was like, yeah, does this even make sense to you all? But then you realize some people are so far gone that this does make sense to them. And at the end of the day, that's sad. That's sad that we watch people that far gone that some of these things make sense to them. I think I'm going to put you here. Does that work? Oh, can't put you there. Can't put you there. Put you there. Yeah, yeah. Cause I forgot this. Sign in. I want to go to mainstream. There we go. Greetings and salutations on YouTube. Sorry I didn't have the comment section turned on. Like I said, you all can follow me across my social medias. You can listen to me on the GCPR network. App is en route where you'll be able to just listen to me without having to go to the website. You just hit the app, and as soon as it's finished, we'll be getting there. And that's the segue. So if y'all have any questions about the data breach or anything, hit me up in the comment section, or you leave a comment on any of my social media posts, and I will respond to it and get back with you. Also today, in the world of politics, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Yeah, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the man who put a bear in Central Park and didn't come forward for over 10 years and was perfectly fine with allowing somebody else to take the blame for it, has approached the Harris campaign about a possible cabinet position. From the world, you cannot make this up. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the anti vax conspiracy theorist himself, has approached not only, but he also, in all fairness, he also has approached the Trump campaign. Also, it's like he's hedging his bets. He's like, what does he bring to the table? What does he bring to the table? Nothing. Nothing. I mean, people talk about a close election. Well, since Kamala Harris has entered the race, she has shaved a lot of those numbers that he was getting when it was a three-man race. He has dropped. I think he's polling at about he's not polling at enough to get on a stage in a debate anyway. But now he's polling even lower than that. I think it's been slashed in half. He might be polling about 2 or 3% now. Um, and so, but it's just the ludicrousy of watching this unfold that is hilarious to me. Right, Stephanie? This is some funny shit. See, you got me cussing already. It's just funny because this man should have never been your own. He's a Kennedy. I mean, let me explain this. Think about this. He is the son of the second most famous Kennedy in political history. He is the son of Robert F. Kennedy, and he is the nephew of the most famous Kennedy in history, John F. Kennedy. And you mean to tell me that and his other uncle is Ted Kennedy. And you mean to tell me that this man is running for public office and the famous Kennedy clan does not even back him? That should tell you everything you need to know right there. What's up, Simply? I can see tonight. Yeah, I can see tonight. Yeah. What's up, Simply? That should tell you everything you need to know about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. That his famous clan is not even endorsing him. Think about that. Think about that. You're a Kennedy running for office, and your famous Kennedy clan is actually endorsing Joe Biden. They endorsed Joe Biden at the time, and I'm sure they've switched over now. But that was so funny to me when they not only did they just not endorse him, they made it very public that they didn't endorse him. So this is the man that, like I say, in the idea that week for last we learned that the bear that was found in Central Park 10 years ago, he was actually the person who did that. All you had to do is have endorsement from the Kennedys. He would have. Yeah. I don't think as an independent he was going to win either. He wasn't going to win even with the endorsement of the Kennedys. But he would have had a position of power to speak in. But the man is literally unhinged. And that goes a long way. Greetings and salutations, everybody just joining. The man is literally unhinged. What's up, Rain? How you doing? Yeah, the man is unhinged. If you hear him talk, if you were here the night we played right, yes, he could have been on the Republican ticket if he was not so unhinged. And I don't think the Kennedys. I just don't see Carolyn going for it. Carolyn is not going for it. Yeah. Yeah, the Kennedys are not going for it. They have a name to protect, and they have a legacy to protect. You know, they're the last descendants of Camelot, so they have an image to protect. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was just not in that image. You know, they might as well let Michael Skagel run. He's a Kennedy clan also, and it's strange that I know all the different branches of the Kennedys, like the Shrivers of Kennedys also. That was married to Donald Trump. Maria Shriver is a Kennedy from the Kennedy clan, and um, Trump dirty everybody's name. Robert F. Kennedy did a lot to dirty his own, but you're right. It is like, and this is what I want. The American public is so funny to me when we're dealing with Trump in this election cycle, because he has another news interview tomorrow. He has another press conference he's calling. I think he's going to be at Bedminster tomorrow, and he's going to do a press conference. And this is the thing, and this is what gets me when I watch people fall into this trap of saying that he's doing these press conferences to make himself available all of a sudden to the press, but he's a malignant narcissist. So that's not the same, and he's using that and saying, "Well, Kamala Harris isn't making herself available to the press for what?" She's making herself available to the people. And not only that, I don't it's a strategic idea. I wouldn't talk to the press either until um the Super Friends convention in Chicago. Okay, you all call it the Democratic National Convention. I call it the Super Friends because I call the Republican National Convention the Legion of Doom. So until the Super Friend convention in Chicago, and she is, she officially accepts. Thank you, whoever just subscribed to the page. Thank you, I appreciate it. Um, I wouldn't give an interview either to the press until I got ready. I have momentum on my side, and I'm going to have momentum on my side going into the Super Friends convention in Chicago on August the 19th, next Monday, which we will be covering every night on the Conversations with TNathan. We will be covering the Democratic National Convention and all the things that happen. So tune in at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock Central Standard Time, and we're going to talk about it. But anyway, I wouldn't do it either. I would not do a sit down interview with the press until after the last day of the convention. And I definitely wouldn't do a sit down interview with the press until I had my policy team go over where we are going to stand on certain policies. That just seems, they act like she's been in the race since, last year. No, we're approaching the 20th day. And at the end of the day, until I get my policy team together and I get some answers that I can give consistently, yeah, I'm not doing no press interviews. I'm going to talk on the campaign trail. I'm going to tell you about how we're going to transform America with better thinking and process of that nature, and do that. Otherwise, what's the problem? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And at the end of the day, that's what she should do. No, I don't expect it. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't benefit. I get tired of people not understanding that. And then when we deal with people and they're saying, well, where does she stand on this and where does she stand on that? Or she had 3.5 years to do this and she didn't do this. Those are the people who let me know they don't know what the vice president's actual responsibility is. It's nice to have vice presidents that are assigned tasks to do things right, but the vice president has one job besides being the Senate pro tem and to vote in terms of a tie. They have one vote in the Senate. They have the tie-breaking vote, and they only vote when there's a tie. So technically, outside of that, they have one job, and that one job is to replace the president if something happens to the president. They don't. They're meant to toe the party line until then. Yeah, I hate to break it to you all, but all these things I see people attributing to is like, well, I don't know where she stands on this. I don't know what stands on. That means she did her job as vice president because she was supposed to support the president's policy. Sit there and look amazing in VP job. Yeah, when make sure that on certain days and when the president is out in public with other members in the line of succession, you're somewhere tucked away safely. Yeah, I hate to break it to you all, but and that's when I hear people say that, and I'll be like, number one, if you're gonna pull policies, you can pull policies on where she stand. You have the Lift Act that she and tried to pass when she was a senator. You can go back to some of the things she's endorsed. One of the problems I had with her was she endorsed the truancy law in California. And I didn't like the aspect of it that said we would criminalize parents because I knew it was going to disproport. But she didn't write the law; she just enforced it. I mean, she championed it. And I don't expect to have everything. I keep telling people I don't expect Kamala Harris to represent a savior. I expect her to represent change. That's what we at. I know what Donald Trump is capable of, what he speaks of. We've had 4 years of Trump, and I know a lot of people have the Trump nostalgia syndrome because they live in a delusion that they want to say, well, we were better off when a pandemic was raging across the country, killing millions of people. That's the time you want to go back to. That's what you want, where inflation was low and we prices were low. You mean because you didn't have anywhere to go to spend your money? Gasoline prices, supply and demand. Anybody? Yeah, highways were untraveled. Yeah, we had commercial airliners were doing everything to get people to their destination safety, but people wasn't flying. Do you understand? I low key miss staying at home. That's what you people when they say this. I be like, did we live through the same pandemic? Did we? Yeah, essential workers did have a lot of money, nowhere to spend it at. They had a lot of money because they had to constantly be at work. Yeah, they had to take care of a country. So ask any nurse if she wants to go back to her schedule that she had during the pandemic. Ask any healthcare provider. Ask any grocery store clerk that was working 60 hours a week to try to get food from there to your home because you couldn't come get it. And then we're fighting for toilet paper. Yeah, this is the reality of what we lived through during the last years of the Trump administration. And to understand that the deregulations that he put in place or that he stripped are one of the leading causes of inflation today. And to not understand that don't get me wrong, I don't think people really understand how government works. Like I say, most people don't even know we have three branches of government. That's what's so funny watching these people out here talk about why they're not going to vote for somebody, and they don't even know we have three branches of government, and don't even know that the legislative branches has two houses. Go figure. And that the president isn't over it. Thank you all for the likes. If y'all can get the likes up, well, appreciate it on across social media, whatever platform you're on. Would you like to show so that way when I start cussing, I don't get banned. But anyway, this is the reality we deal with. And that's why I say the data breach more concerns me on the creation of false accounts and bot accounts than it does me waking up in the morning and all my money, all my $52 has been drained out of my savings account. I don't. That's not really a concern. If somebody goes out here and buys a car with my credit, more power to them, right? Yeah, y'all go in that car. I'm not paying for it. Yeah, I'm not paying for it. Add it to the other list of things that um have not been paid for in my life. It's like, okay, we got this car note. I didn't do it. I don't drive, so I don't know what to tell you. I'm not gonna be whatever it is. Go chase down the other one. And then nobody wants to steal a convicted felon's ID anyway. I'm like, you stole my ID, you're just in trouble. My daughter and hubby just got letters in the mail because their medical data was breached in February. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna tell you, on that level, I want everybody out there who needs medical care. If they can get medical care in my name, go for it. Go for it. We neither one of us gonna pay that bill. Yeah, but you can get the health care you need. Go for it. I know I'm a radical. I have different thinking about a lot of this stuff. People be like, but yeah, I don't care. Reach it to you. If it saves somebody's life, go for it. I'm good. I'm good. Like, and I'm built to deal with them when they call too. Well, sir, you have this outstanding medical bill in Poughkeepsie. It's like I've never been to Poughkeepsie. What was I operated on? Well, it says here you had a baby. I'm like, well, not paying now. No, no, I didn't do it. You know, where we here, well, you had this removed. Well, I still got mine, so I don't know what to tell you. It wasn't me. Good, good luck. It wasn't me. I just don't. I'm fighting with MAGA right now. They want the president of the USA to control the quote profit. look, look. This is what gets me right. Y'all remember the Kamala meltdown we had last week? Anybody gonna tell them? I was just watching people, MAGA supporters across social media, run with the hashtag Kamala crash, and I was like, anybody gonna tell them where they at right now? Where are these same people at right now that had videos up talking about enjoy your Kamala crash? If that was a crash, that was the shortest crash in history, right? Yeah, though let's not talk about the 5 times the stock market and NASCAR and the Nasdaq's market dipped below 3% during somebody else's presidency 5 times. You don't talk about that, right? But it is funny to watch. That's why I say I have more concerns about the data breach being used to spread misinformation by creating accounts than I do about that. But my 401k played double the day after it went right back up. I don't think people understand that most of the stock that even everyday Americans would have is not theirs. They actually are more likely to be involved in like a 401k or their retirement, and they're not buying and selling stock on a daily basis. So those prices don't affect you unless you take the day that the stock market drops the most to sell your stock. Yeah, then it was on you, Mr. United States stock market. Um, that's there's more of a crash during school. Does anybody, speaking of stats, does anybody think it's funny? And I was saw this, and people get bent out and say they talking about tampons in boys' restrooms, right? And they was like, "Oh no, we can't have this. This is so wrong." You all are more bent out of shape about tampons and boys' restrooms than you are AK-15s, AR-15s in school. It just amazes me the disingenuousness of people when I hear them make these arguments, and you be looking at them like, hmm, you're special, right? And I mean special, special. Yeah, you're special. And it is so funny to me that when we see these things and they like, do you all look at yourselves? Yeah, exactly. We should have tampons in both restrooms because hell, children are being shot in school so much they can at least be used to staunch the bleeding that is being incurred because we care more about tampons in schools than which should be tax free, by the way. Also, tampons should be tax free um, for everybody. At the end of the day, we care more about that than we do actual weapons of mass destructions that are finding their way into our schools. We care more. I was in somebody talking about the sexualization and like what would you rather your child go to? You want a drag queen reading story time to your child? What's the difference in me taking your child to a strip joint? See, if I have to really explain that to you, I'm just gonna punch you in the face. If I have to explain the difference between taking a child to a strip club and a drag queen doing story time in your school, then you got some serious problems. You got some serious problem. Right, simply. I agree with you 100%. Yes, we need to work better on toxic shock syndrome that caused by tampons, but that's the whole thing. It's an interesting point you raise because people care more about them being in the bathroom than we care about making them safer for women also. That is a good point. Um, but yeah, and then you find yourself, like you say, what's up, Livid? If you find yourself having to explain these things to people, people be wondering, why are you like you are, TNathan? Why don't you do? I want to punch people in the face. I told you, Anthony Collins is my hero. And for those of y'all who don't know, in September 18th of last year, and what was the place? It was in New Jersey. It was in Seaside Hills, Heights, New Jersey. Anthony Collins punched the old white man dead in his face after said white man ran his bicycle in purpose into his fiancee and started using the N word in front of his children. He punched them dead in the face. And also, he wound up dying because he punched him so hard, he knocked him down, he hit his head. He said it was all right. Understand, he got back up when he regained consciousness after paramedics got there because Anthony Collins knocked him smooth out. Smooth out, and that's my hero. So Anthony Collins knocked him out. He got up when the paramedics got there. They tried to take him to the hospital. He said he didn't want to go. He went home. Later that evening, he started to act erratic. So they came, I guess, paramedics were contacted again. They came to his house and they took him to the hospital. And he died in the hospital on October the 1st. So from the 18th when he was hit, he lived until the 1st, and then he died. And they said that the cause of death was blunt force trauma caused by the blow that Anthony administered to him. Yeah, okay. And then they put out an arrest warrant for Anthony on the 5th of October, 4th of October, and he turned himself in on the 15th. And he's been in jail ever since. Well, last week he was sentenced. He was sentenced. And it wasn't the win I would like, but it's the win I will take. He got less time than I did. He got 3 years. They sentenced him to 3 years on the manslaughter charge. And I was like, I'll take it. I'll count that as a win. I'm going to put money on his books. I am going to put money on Anthony's books, right? And here's the thing, right? The thing in this situation, people are like, I can't believe you're a champion. I'm telling you, Anthony for me is the king. He is the poster man for fuck around and find out. I understand that everyone think. So I don't know what people think. Freedom of speech does not come with freedom of consequences, and to also understand that this was not a one-off. Anthony and his family have been having problems with this man for months. This man has been harassing him and his family for months. When he ran his bicycle into the family while they were out, and then he got what he was looking for. I'm all down for it. I am down for like 4 fat tires for what he got. Who's the defense attorney? That's good advertising. Exactly. Because this was manslaughter. They charged him with manslaughter, blunt force trauma. But yeah, I was showed the picture of him. I showed a picture of Anthony in his mugshot, and it's in my last video if you want to see it on TikTok and on Instagram. But I showed a picture of Anthony. Anthony was like this in his mugshot. You know how most people, you see them, they like, are they looking down or trying to look down? Anthony was looking like, yeah, Anthony was looking up. Head held high. He had a little smirk on his face. Anthony, that was the mugshot of a man who knows what he did, was okay with what he did, and if given the opportunity again, he would do it all over again. But I don't understand how the guy lived for days but still be charged. He was white. Because the young non-binary person in Oklahoma didn't even make it 12 hours, but those kids, right? Those kids are not charged with anything. Those kids, that's a good point. that you made about what happened to Bennett in Oklahoma, right? They got into the fight, died 12 hours later from blunt force trauma, but those kids haven't been charged with anything. And that's a good parallel because this is the system we live in. I tell you, that's why I tell all my friends, especially in marginalized groups and women, protect yourself. Protect yourself. Protect yourself, and also sometimes allow us to protect you too. Understand that we some of us can protect you and are willing to. Don't make us fight you to protect you though. That's just a side note. Just throwing that out there. Just throwing it out there. If we say if we, I remember. Let me tell you something. Petra is in here. What's up, Cam? Petra's in here. Petra would tell you if we get in a dangerous situation and I say step back, I mean exactly that. Step back. Cause I rarely need help. I need help go get the car started because when I come and jump in it, we need to take off. Understand that. I know a lot of men have let you down in the past. I understand that. I get it. But when that man tells you to step back, yes, Bennett not Nicks. When they tell you to step back, they got it. They got it. I don't need you falling down. I don't just give if I need anything, we get it when I get to the car. But step back. I got this. Or go to the car and get that thing and just do a Michael Bay toss to me. I catch it from there. But anyway, side note, back on track. But anyway, that's why I tell them to make sure that and I learned this at a young age. People will always talk about um, how I came up in the South and my attitudes towards violence, and how violence is never a non-option for me when it comes to dealing with racists and bigots or dealing with the oppression of the system we face. Because I think about my grandmother. People ask, people will try to quantify your family because, oh, well, you were 13 and you were doing this, this, and this, and I was a, I was a different 13-year-old. We were different in those days, especially growing up the way we did. And yeah, feel about you where you want to. I don't really care because everything I have gone through, you can tag me in TNathan. Everything I have gone through has made me the man I am today. So since I love who I am, I love my stances, and I love the ability that at 57 I can still throw a punch. Yeah, I'm good. But I remember my grandmother's voice rings in my head so much when I hear her telling me, "I would rather visit you in prison than visit you at the cemetery." And that's impactful. When you grow up hearing those kinds of things because you come of age in a racist ass Mississippi in the shadow of Emmett Till, when you come of age in a time when parents were used to burying their children, my grandmother felt more secure that at 13 I knew how, I knew when, and I had some iron. Yeah, because she knew. She knew it was better to be prepared than to be visiting her grandson in a cemetery. I came of age in the shadow of a young man who was literally hung in Mobile by the Klan. That I knew his brother, and I knew him, and went to the funeral, and to understand that it would have turned out to be a whole different situation if he could have upped something when they first approached. He could have upped something, but he is dead. But his mother did turn around and sue the Klan financially out of existence in Alabama for a while. But it's one thing to sue the Klan Incorporated. It's another thing to the Klan doesn't exist. A lot of people got that mixed up because she sued the Klan. Beulah May did. Beulah May Donald sued the Klan, and she won a settlement that she never saw in her lifetime. And they were talking, the Klan doesn't exist anymore. No, the Klan as an incorporation didn't exist anymore. The Klan is a mentality, and that resides in the heart of people, in the heart of people. Thank you all of y'all who just subscribed to the channel. Thank you, I appreciate it. It really goes. Y'all know If you follow me, you know what we do with every extra money we get, and that's why, you know, is she? Can you see her? Between Bella and those who happen to be homeless, yeah, I broke. I stay broke. Like I say, my Calypso. I can't even get on Calypso until Friday. I'm drinking. I'm drinking lemonade. I'm drinking lemonade out of the big Milo's gallon lemonade. I love lemonade. If you know me, if you ever know me, if you want to, lemonade is my drink. Flavored lemonades are even better. I drink basic lemonade, but Calypsos are my favorite lemonade. Calypsos are my favorite drink. All right, so that's what's going on that front. And in other news, uh, polls. Can I say something? And this might sound, this is gonna come across as petty because I can be petty at times, but I'm more petty on a cerebral level. This this is funny to me because I'm watching people out here talking about the polls, talk about Vice President Kamala Harris is leading this poll, and yeah, they happy now. But these are the same people that when Joe Biden was not leading in the polls, they said they didn't believe the poll. Yes, this is a petty moment. This is a petty moment because when I was telling you that, not you all, not you all, don't take it personally, but some people, and they know who I'm talking about. When I was telling you that 70% of registered Democratic voters said they wanted something different at the top of the ticket, and you were telling me that the media was manipulating the polls, these are the same polls, people. They're still the same polls. Now that they're in your favor, it's like I watched the Republicans and Democrats flip on the poll thing, right? When the Republicans were getting the news from the same polls, they were like good. They were running with Donald Trump is leading in this poll and in the battleground states and all this. Now that it's flipped, I'm watching Democrats love the poll. And the Republicans are crying of fake news again, right? It is hilarious. I'm just gonna use it as a teachable moment. Right, it's simple. It's like I'm using it as a teachable moment, right? If you're gonna go with a standard when it makes you happy, you gotta stick with that same standard when it doesn't go your way, because it's disingenuous that's why I say sometimes some people were acting like cult members to me, right? Because anything that they didn't like, instead of trying to figure out how to change it in a way that benefited them, they just complained about the tool instead of saying the tool is just a measurement. Because I'm gonna tell you about polls, right? Most people don't understand that in most polls I've conducted in college and in life, most people don't lie on polls. They don't have a reason to. They don't have a motivation to lie. They don't lie. They answer the questions in the way, and you ask questions in such a manner that another question comes back up, and if you have to remember your answer to that question to know how to navigate the next question. So polls are a cross section. The larger the poll, the more representative it is. That's why I say I do to over protect Republicans. Yeah, that's because you're special like me, Cam. That's because you're special. But we also have their polling factors to take that into account. It's like I tell people, register Republican so you can vote in the Republican primary. It doesn't change anything on the general election, but you make sure you go in and you find the least um, the worst candidate that has the most extreme opinions, and you vote for them in your primaries so your delegates can know. And it's like, and it's interesting that you mentioned that because that was what I was going to talk about tomorrow night. And I'm going to talk about it in depth. We got like 11 minutes, but I want to hit on it tonight also. Is do you understand that I'm watching some of the Republican primary winners across the country, and I'm like, you all are doing the same thing you all did in 2022, running these people that no consensus of sane people are going to elect. All you no sane group of people are going to elect them on a local level. You know, you look at somebody like Kerry Lake. Don't get me wrong. They have large followings, but they also have large followings in their party who are never going to vote for them. Carrie Lake, Miss Conspiracy Theories herself, who thought she was going to be Donald Trump's running mate for a little while. Yeah, no. Then you got Mark Robinson in North Carolina, who has basically came out and said that predating the violence that occurred on June the 27th, talking about we need to take people out. But these people do hold. They do. It's funny because they do raise the power on certain levels. But yeah. But my thing right now is Ross White. Ross White, and I'll be doing a video on him later. Ross White is running in Minnesota, and he's running for the Senate seat that is presently occupied by Amy Robach. And it's so funny. I was like, women. Why would a woman vote for a man who said that women are getting too mouthy these days? You mean Kerry? The voters are rigged. Wait, no, still vote. Yes, that's the one. But and I'm gonna do a video on him and post it. You can see because I go back. As a matter of fact, several of these candidates I'm working on, getting things they have said and wondering who is voting. Why are women voting for a man that says to Steve Bannon, and he's a Steve Bannon mentee. That should stop all voting right there. He's a former NBA player, and he is a MAGA supporter, and he is worse than Herschel Walker. He's worse than Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker was just ignorant. Ignorant. If you know what ignorant is, you know what ignorant is. Ross has a pretense to intellect, and then he says things like that. And it's like, you're not really trying to win an election. But it just goes to show you that's why I tell you it's not just the people that are running for office that are dangerous. How can I explain the concept of the police to my mixed race granddaughter who identifies as black? We'll come back. How old is they? How old are they, Green Eyes? We'll come back to that question. We'll have time for that in the after party. When I finish talking about Ross. You mean Agent Sheriff Deputy Herschel Walker? Agent Deputy Sheriff Werewolf Herschel Walker. Don't leave the werewolf part out. But you get to this part when and that's why I say, especially white women, and this is a black man we're talking about. White women, you gotta stop voting in your worst interests. You really gotta stop doing that. And I'm not talking about on one issue because this is not a one. It's just like, I'm going to also talk about the anti-blackness in the Palestinian movement and all that's going on social media with that later in the week. I'm gonna talk about that because I've been doing some research. As someone who is pro-Palestine and is actually has the bona fides, been at protests live and posted protests that they've been at. Some of y'all need to shut up. Some of the people speaking out at this point, if I have gone to your page, your social media page, if I have looked at your social media and I don't see any pro Palestine or videos, if I don't, and then all of you all talking about the Congo and Darfur and the Sudan and Haiti and Cuba and nobody else on the other side is talking about them. If I don't see those videos on your page, I need you to shut up too. I need you all to shut up. No one's talking to you all. Nobody's talking to you all. Just go about your life, do what you usually do. Nobody's talking to you. This is not the adults in the room will solve this, and we don't really need your help because that is crazy to me to hear. It's like I hear a lot of people speaking out on both sides of this issue, and they're not doing. Don't we? Yes, anti-blackness exists in the Arab community. LGBTQ phobia exists in Palestine. That doesn't mean I want to sit idly by while thousands of children's lives are lost. But that also doesn't mean I'm going to pass up an opportunity for change because you don't like one issue. If you are one issue voter, then you might not you don't like either candidate. But if you're thinking about how do you get closer to your issues, you pick the candidate that gives you the most idea of change because we didn't get here overnight and we're not going to get here from overnight. And that's change is important. And I get tired of people thinking that black people should continually sacrifice everything we want and believe in, instead of understanding what we want and believe in, also is for the benefit of everybody we fight for. Even when we vote or we talk about Kamala Harris, we're not talking about her as a savior. We're talking about her as a representative of change and the opportunity for this country to tell us who it wants to be, as opposed to a vote for Donald Trump showing me you want to move this country in the same direction that it has lavished in since oppression. So yeah, uh, and that's it. Um, Kamala Harris might not be the left we hope for, but electing her is a cultural movement that can set us up on right camp, and that's what I say. So when people tell me to, and you have to be careful what you ask for. You have to be careful what you ask for. If you're going to tell somebody like me, a black man who has been on the front line with you, not fighting just for you, but with you, that if I'm going to support Kamala Harris, that I need to keep Palestine's name out my mouth. That might not be what you. That's not. I don't think you thought that through too well, right? Because if you want to be technical, I didn't see you in Oklahoma trying to free Julius Jones. I got this gnat, and it's annoying me. It's a gnat flying around because the lights are right here, and it's annoying me because I don't want to kill the gnat in front of you all, because it's like, be like, oh, gnat, he killed the gnat. Yeah, I'm gonna smash that gnat when I get off here. Um, yeah, exactly. So that might not be the best route to go, right? So, I hate to start this question and not have time to finish it on the air. That I'm going to talk about police. So, yeah, a segue. So for the next 4 minutes before we go off the air on the GCPR network, before I get into the question about how to explain policing to your mixed race, I'm gonna tell you something. When you say mixed race, let me tell you my philosophy. Y'all see this, Nat? Those who are watching, you see this? I think it's a gnat. It's a gnat. Aren't those what those little bugs are called? They're gnats. Yeah. For it looks wrong. But before I go into it, understand that chocolate milk plus white milk is chocolate milk. Just one I want. If you get it, you get it. You don't add chocolate milk and white milk together and get white milk. You get chocolate milk. Ew. It's still chocolate milk. So, and understand, in a society as such as ours, there is no white chocolate milk. It's chocolate milk, and by virtue of that, you buy one of those bug zapping bugs. Tell you something. I love Nick. That's the worst idea. To put right here, Nick. To put right here. That's fine outside. But do you think it's one bug, Nick? It's one gnat. I'm sure I can manage to kill one gnat. It's one gnat. It's not like I have a whole. You act like I got a room full of insects flying around. You know how I feel about insects. Nick knows how I feel about insects. Yeah, they're fine outside. Yeah, they're there. We got smoke candles outside. What is it called? The smoke the I forgot. We got smoke candles outside. Yeah, but you think I'm gonna put a bug zapping light in here? Yeah, no. Centronella. Yeah, we got centronella candles outside. Yeah, Nick got his bright idea is to put a bug zapper in here. Do you understand? Bug zappers really attract bugs. That's the thing people don't realize, right? Bug zappers work, but they attract bugs, and I don't want a bug zapper. Bug zapper light is a great. Yeah, I don't want to attract the bugs. Yeah, and then gotta listen to them be zapped. At least I don't have to listen to them when I hit them with the when I hit them with a towel. It's just like, oh, yeah, I just hit them with a towel. Yeah. All right, y'all. Before somebody let me run over, because nobody's giving me any kind of idea that I'm already 5 seconds overboard, and I haven't even done my started into my good nights. All right, what's up, GCPR Network? TNathan. about to sign off. If you would like to continue the conversation, join me on my social media. I'll be happy to have you. But I know that a lot of you all, it's either early where you are or late where you are. But the app is coming. We're doing the testing right now, so you'll be able to just hit it up on the app, put it in your ear, and continue doing what you do while I regale you with the events from the day in the United States and across the world as they affect marginalized communities. All right? Thank you for joining me on the GCPR network. I'll holler at you all tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, and you got to figure it out from wherever you are in the world after that. All right? Peace. All right. GCPR, clear. I it's it's 11 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock. Yeah, 11 o'clock. I have to do the walk down too. I gotta have time to close. I'm not closing out until I give my closing goodbyes. Where can I watch you? Across all social media. And I ask you all to follow me on other platforms because I do have a tendency to get banned on platforms. Because I never adopted the colloquialisms of saying certain words that mean other words that I want to say. So I don't really say unalive. I say murder, and sometimes that runs afoul of censors. But I believe if I just say unalive, that underscores what I really mean when I mean murder. So follow me on YouTube especially. YouTube, I will get my X account back up and operational as soon as the suspension period is over for videos. I will get that back up. I will be back on Instagram also, but especially YouTube, where you can watch all my old videos on YouTube whenever you get ready. Also on YouTube, I take the opportunity, if I talk about body cam footage or if I talk about statements by police and concern to anything, I post the whole statements or the whole body cam footage on my page. Like right now, I posted both body camera angles from the murder of Takia Young. That's on my station from both body cams. So I post that before. I want people to be able to go and look at something that doesn't have commentary attached to it, and it's just the facts of what happened. So you can count on not getting altered videos or anything like that because I release them directly from the police department. Police chiefs, when they make statements, I release their statements. Um, and you can get it on my YouTube channel. And you can get conversations with TNathan on my YouTube channel live also. I'm building up the YouTube channel. I'm not really good at multiple platform posting at the same time because it's like I just post everything on the same all across the platforms so that way you can get it. But I do have like on Instagram. If you want to see the videos that TikTok censors or doesn't allow me to post on TikTok, those videos are always going to be on Instagram. They're always on Instagram. I always post them on Instagram. So on Instagram, you get the videos that TikTok doesn't allow me to post. And then if it doesn't allow me to post it on Instagram, you get them on YouTube. So yeah, I know it's a lot to ask, but hey, follow me on multiple platforms and you can get it. Why is the wealthy only answer to climate change to either run or bury themselves in a bunker? I'll get to that too, Cat. But let's get to the question about how do you explain the police to your black child? Um, I think people need to understand that we don't live in a idealistic world. And when we're talking about police in this country, you have to understand that. Thank you for the new subscription on Instagram and on YouTube. Thank you. But you have to understand in this society we live in, anti-blackness is a worldwide phenomenon. And when you're going to talk about police, you're going to have to realize you're talking about the descendants of slave catcher patrols. Police in this country was founded based on the slave catcher patrol. Investigations were all originally about how did the slave escape, who helped the slave escape. That's what investigative procedures in this country are rooted in when it comes to crime. So when you're dealing with that basis, because we never get rid of things in this country, we just transform them to do the same things they have always done, just in a different guise. When you deal with that basis, you have to realize that then it doesn't become a matter of what color you are in service to the system of racism that exists either. That's why you can get Tyree Nichols beat to the dead sleep like he did by black officers in service to a racist police department. Because when you deal with people that are conditioned to maintain the status quo of racism, racism doesn't care about who it uses. Understand that. Racism does not care about who it uses. It will use you in service to itself if you allow it. That's why Angela Davis teaches us. In a racist society, it's not enough for you to fight racism by saying that you're non racist. In a racist society, if you truly want to say you are against racism, you need to be anti racist. And anti implies action. So when you ask the question about how do you explain this to your children, you explain it to your children by holding a mirror up to them. You explain to your children by showing them Dante Wright. You explain it to your children by showing them that their proximity to whiteness has never mattered in the system of racism. Sally Hemings had children with Thomas Jefferson, and some of them were very fair skinned, but they were still black children and treated as such by the society. And it goes back because you know the history of racism. You can go and you can of this country, and you can look at the New Orleans sector of master's kids that formed their own little section. But they were still treated as black. They were just had privileges based on their proximity. But after that, that is not known outside of your community. No police officer is pulling over a black presenting person and asking, "Do you have a white parent?" before I shoot you or beat you up. And that's not only the talk is not only. I know we have focused a lot in the last 20 years on the talk that black parents have with their black children, right? And most people think the talk about being pulled over by police, but no, the talk is about how we are navigating the world. Period. How we are navigating the world, period, as black people. Um, and I always tell the story. One of my friends told me is like if you say you have black friends, you should have to spend 24 hours with that friend to see how they navigate the world and how that will be an eye-opening experience for you when you get to see the microaggressions we deal with on a daily basis. And unlike me, I'm not good with microaggressions. I usually, result to violence. And because I think about the next person, I tell you, I would cuss people out over a microaggression. And they were like, "Oh, I didn't mean anything by it. I just, I was like, well, you will know the next time. You will know what it comes across as the next time you use it." And you have to, and that's why a lot of people, my 6-year-old notices every single time her bestie is treated differently. Right. And you have to understand that people ask me sometimes, why do I waste my time with, or why do I address it? For those very reasons that you all ask about your children. Because we have to address things so that, number one, some of it is implicit bias. And if we let implicit biases go too long, they become habit. And that habit is in service to racism. So, yes, even when people I care about and they might stray into the area of their implicit biases, is firmly that I tell you that's not a good place to be. And I will explain why. And if you choose to stay there, you're not my friend. You just let me know that you're more comfortable in your implicit biases than you are dealing with the consequences of that implicit bias on your so called friends. See, so yes, it's firm because it's 2024. It's 2024. We don't have the luxury of taking years of teaching people who should know in 2024 racism bad. Racism bad. So but I also have enough understanding that I understand that some people have been raised with their implicit bias, and they haven't ran into a black person that, like me, will say, "Hey, we're not doing this, and this is why we're not doing it." Because that is the mark of when I decide to know if you're in this because you're fighting for the right reasons, or you're gonna get your little feelings hurt and you're going to run back to the comfort of your implicit biases because all of a sudden you got bias confirmation because Big Black Bad Man cussed me out, and I thought he understood. Yeah, I understood that sometimes you're going to remember longer after you've been cussed out than if you guys sit there and say, well, let me explain how this made me feel. No, no. Well, what does Dr. King tell us? Dr. King said, it's not silence what we're going to remember. It's not silence we're going to remember. And we understand that also people will forget what you say. They will forget what you say. But I can leave you with the impression to make sure I impress upon you by feelings, because I never want that 6'4" Negro to ever cuss me out again. Because I'm cussing you out for the ancestors. I'm cussing you out for the next generation. I'm cussing you out because you need to pay attention to this. Because you might see it and think nothing of it. There's a trend I want to show you before it blows up again this fall, T. You got my number. Send it to me. You got my number. Yeah, share it with me. So that's how you do it. And it's the talk you have to have is not just a talk about one institution of racism in this country. You like those green eyes? Thank you. Yeah, see, when you subscribe to my channel, you get the logos. You get to use the logos. Yeah, I need to make some more. And I know I'm probably the worst subscription person you all follow because I can't remember to make content, especially for you all. I know I'm supposed to do that, but you have access to me on a level that I do pay attention to, right? Um, and I appreciate it. I want you to know I appreciate it. But I've never been good at, you can ask Metal. I've never been good at jumping through hoops for anything. I believe that I tell you straight up what we need to do and that we need to do it. I believe if I have to beg or plead for it, then you're not doing it from your heart. And begging and pleading is not my strong suit. It's not my strong suit. Anybody would tell you I will lead with the right before I beg. And I don't. I'm not good, and I know this is another one, but I'm not good, and people that will tell you, I'm not good at, I don't really ask for help because I figure 99% of my life I've navigated it just fine. People might not like my solutions, but they work for me. But at the end of the day, I do realize that in this fight for against oppression, this is the one area where I will ask for help, but I will only ask you once because I believe that if you don't, that means you don't want to, and I need to move on. I'm not. I don't. I even in this fight, I don't beg because no marginalized group should have to debase themselves to anybody to do the right thing. If you're here for the fight, you're going to be here even if I have to fight with you at times. Because people, I love, I love my children. I love my bestie. I love all of it. But that doesn't mean I don't get in their ass sometime, or vice versa. My children don't get in my ass. Yeah, yeah. We draw the line. We look. You will shut up. Yeah, that. I'm sorry. Y'all think I know some people think that their children are their best friends and they little people that have opinions and everything else. Yeah, I'm black. I'm black. No, you have your opinion. You can keep it to yourself until you turn of an age where you can move out my house or stop depending on my support. Yeah, until then, yeah, I'm here to protect you, not to be your best friend. Even the crumb snatchers will tell you we can laugh and joke. I'll put them on. Cam, I just seen you send me something. But at the end of the day, yeah, I'm here to raise a good human being, right? We can be friends when I'm old and you're older, and I mean older past the age of 30. But still, I'm your daddy. Yeah, I got it. My niece and nephews understand the same thing. We can have all these back and forth conversations, but at the end of the day, it does get to a point when you're the patriarch of your family, or the matriarch of your family, and patriarch in my case, you do put it down because it has to be somebody the buck stops at. And a lot of people are afraid to be that person, and they want to be liked. I said, the crumb snatchers know Go talk to your friends if you want validation. You come talk to me when you want the truth, and you're gonna do what I say at the end of the day. And you can feel any way you want to about it. And I know people like, oh, this is modern parenting and all this. Nope, not at all. The one I sent you has 1 million likes. Oh, do I want to see this? All right, let me see what Cam sent me, y'all. Hold on just a moment. Oh, you sent it on TikTok. I thought you. Why didn't you send it to me directly, Cam? You know, hold on. Let's see what Cam talking about. I just watched the video Cam sent me. I only watched like 5 seconds of it. Yep. Don't listen to it on the stream. I missed that. I didn't get there fast enough. Yeah, I didn't get there fast enough. Um, yeah. Yeah, 1 million likes also. You know, I'm gonna say this, and Cam sent me a video, and of course the N word is in the video because it's trending, and it's trending, and it is also hmm, it's also an insultive video. But of course, insulting black people by using the N word is a trendy topic, and this is why I believe in knocking people out. Because until we address these issues in a way that people like this understand, I no, Cam, not you at all. It's like you're not no need to be sorry. I'm glad you shared it with me because I'm going to eviscerate the background of that person. But this is another thing. These people do this from the privacy of the digital hoods they wear on social media. That's one thing about me. If I go into a live, you will see. If I'm not prepared physically to be seen on a live, then I don't need to go into a live. I go into live and I'll be like, everybody got their camera off. Everybody got their camera off. And I'll be like, that's just to me what that says is that you don't have the conviction to stand on what you're saying. And that's what a lot of these accounts are. That's why you'll see. Anytime you see me live or you see me speaking, I stand up on the podium. I don't I be prepared for anything that comes with what I say. You're talking to somebody who has been, I was doxxed before people were even using the word doxxed. I don't care. I don't. I've had the Klan send audio videotapes when they were on VHS. The Klan sent a VHS to my house. Yeah, that's how old I've been doing this, right? But I figure it's important to stand in where you are. I figure it's if the great civil rights leaders of our era, they didn't hide behind. They stood in front of, even knowing the danger that would put them in front. And I tell you, Fred Hampton never hid. But I'm also differently built because the ancestors built me with the ability to protect. See, a lot of times in the past, we have failed our leaders because we failed to protect them collectively. Well, the life I've lived, the road the ancestors and the universe put me on, one thing is like at 57, I'm still him. I'm still him. A lot of people don't realize that you don't become I didn't become who I am by cutting out parts of who I was, because everything the ancestors and the universe built me with is what they knew I would need to carry on the message and to do the work. So yeah, people like, oh, yeah, have you always been violent? Yeah, I've always, yeah, you couldn't push me and not expect to get hit back in any way. Yeah, I've always been that way. Even when I didn't have purpose, I was always that way. That's why I was an enforcer. People knew, like, TNathan, he not gonna stand on no corner and sling no drugs. But what he will do is he will protect those that he is loyal to. And they knew that, yeah, he gonna. That's why I was the one. They like, something happened, TNathan got it. He gonna take care of that. He don't even want us to stay around. And people that I love and care about, they know also that you can't run off and leave me, because I choose to plant my feet where I plant my feet, and I do it so you can be safe. Because I've learned how to fight. I always blamed black men for the death of Medgar Evers in Mississippi. I blamed the black men that he was surrounded by because there's no way that Medgar Evers should have been shot at the driveway of his own home. Because if you say you're about that work, then it's your job to make sure that you form a protective barrier. And I don't mean a protective, and it's not even so a protective barrier with your body, it's a protective barrier that his home should have been always under guard by a rotating crop of black men. That's it. And we failed. We failed Malcolm the same way. We failed Fred Hampton the same way. And the universe and the ancestors got to the point where say we need to build people that can not only can protect themselves but can protect others while leading. I'm not the kind of leader that's going to be at the back of the formation telling you all what to do. I'm the type of leader that's going to be right there in your ear, and I'm not going to ask you to do anything that I'm not doing or prepared to do. And it does become, you got to find that strategic balance because you also have to have people that trust you enough to know that you're not sending them on suicide missions or that it's not a. My leadership style is never based on the fact that you will follow me. It's based on the fact that we can accomplish something greater together. We have principles, not taking points, so we don't have to walk back what we say. Right, right. And that's the thing, Pirate. A lot of people are out here. You never really see me have to post a retraction video. You never have to see that. You never have to worry about me getting the facts wrong because before I usually speak, I usually make sure I have the facts. And by the same token, even when I do, like, we'll use two situations that have over the last year. We will use the road situation with being hit by a brick, and my stance didn't change on where I stood on that. I stand that any black man that will stand by and watch a woman be assaulted, there's no excuse for that. It doesn't matter that it comes out all this other information comes out that didn't happen. My stance was always with those who said that we don't owe protection. So I'm not printing a retraction for anything I said. I meant everything I said. I stand on it. Carly Russell. Carly Russell. I stand on everything I said about Carly Russell's situation. And I said from the beginning, I don't care how she gets home. I just want her home. I don't want her to be one of those 53,000 black women that go missing and children missing every year that don't come home. And I felt like at the end of the day, she's going to pay the price for what she did. But I think of my grandmother. My grandmother said, "I would rather visit you in prison than visit you in a grave." I'm happy that Carly Russell's family is able to get her the help she needs, and that she is still there, and no another parent isn't having to bury their child. I don't care how people feel about that. That is a non-brainer to me, right? Well, she did this and she set us back. No, it only sets you back if you allow it to set back. Because I'm gonna tell you, and people who know me, if you call me today and you know me personally and you tell me a black woman or a black child or somebody is missing, I've done it for white women, white children. If you tell me somebody's missing, I'm gonna do everything in my power to use my platform to help find them, whichever way that goes. And I want to find them alive. And as many white women has gone missing just because they want to change their lives, and all of a sudden we want to demonize Carly Russell because she had mental health issues that a man was at the root of. Y'all better start checking yourselves. Y'all better start checking yourselves because if bad relationships, if making bad decisions because you in a bad relationship was a crime, a lot of us will be locked up. A lot of us will be locked up. Yeah, so it's easy. None of the incel people will be locked up. None of the involuntarily celibate people will be locked up because you don't know what it's like to be in love and do something crazy. You don't. I get it. You don't know what it's like. Wrong or right. Feel about it how you want to. I get people and they say, "Well, you should have chose better." I was like, you should have chose better who you told that to because I believe in knocking teeth out. Yeah. Oh damn. I would be completely locked up for lifetime. Hey, is that the woman who faked the kidnapping? Yeah, Carly Russell. That is the young lady that faked her kidnapping for some dude. Yeah. That's her. And it only, like I say, we have the ability in this day and age to allow things. When I hear people say, "Oh, that sets us," I'm gonna tell you another thing. Will Smith slapping Chris Rock on that stage did not set me back anywhere. I would have slapped Chris Rock. I haven't forgiven Chris Rock for sitting around with Jerry Seinfeld, Louis C.K., and the guy from England. I forgot, and he's giving them passes to use the N word. And you know it's bad when Jerry Seinfeld is the only one that I can say looked better in that situation. And I have other issues with Jerry Seinfeld, but in that situation, he didn't use the N word. Louis C.K. I'm a drag Louis C.K. I got to drag Louis C.K. He made a Kamala reference the other day, and I got to get on him on X. Um, yeah, the guy who sits around and engages in an involuntary act in front of women should be the last person talking about Kamala Harris. Yeah. So there is that. I definitely have to give it up to Seinfeld that he did not use. Right, in that situation, but Seinfeld has a lot of other problems that we can't resist speed past, right? Propensity for young girls is one of them. Richie, thank you, Ricky Gervais. I couldn't think of his name. Ricky Gervais, the creator of The Office. Yeah. So, yeah, I would have slipped Chris Rock. But when people were talking about, oh, he set us back hundreds of years, he didn't do anything to me. He didn't do anything to me. Yeah, that was, I'm telling you, the fuck around and find out police is in full effect these days. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care what people have to say about his marriage to Jada Pinkett. I'm gonna tell you who they did not call and ask for any advice about their nuptials. That would be TNathan Fairley. They didn't call and ask me about the advice. I know a lot of people see people and their life. They be like they feel like they have an opinion about their lives or who they with and how they're interacting with them because they're movie stars or they're in the public eye. As someone who has been there, done that, I'm quick to tell you I don't give a damn what you think about my what I should be doing in my bed in my room. Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, and that's how I treat it. He didn't ask me if he should marry her. She didn't call me and ask me if she should marry him. And and if we can't be talking about families coming all different shapes and sizes when we're talking about other communities, but then get bent out of shape because somebody is living their truth out, and all of a sudden you say, well, that's not the way y'all should do it. If it work, if as long as everybody's a consenting adult involved in this situation, I have nothing to say. You should look up Domo and his Hollywood series. He covers problematic people. Will Smith banned from award show longer than summer. Right. That at the end of the day, yeah, that's the issues. The issue is like it's still a difference in treatment. It's a difference in treatment. It's I'm gonna tell you this. I feel some kind of way about Robert Downey Jr. being being allowed to run in the MCU with his past and nobody says anything about it. Nobody says anything about it. Robert Downey Jr. is about to play Doctor Doom in the. I know a lot of people don't get my references to Marvel. I am a blurred. Don't forget that I am a blurred. But everyone's like, oh yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is coming back, and Robert Downey Jr. has a more extensive felony convictions and criminal rate than Jonathan Majors did. I feel about it what you want to, right? I'm just saying, wrong or right. If you're going to talk about you give people second chances, but you don't give somebody with the misdemeanor the same second chance you give somebody with felonies, and I'm talking about violent felonies, drug use, but yeah, Jonathan Majors. We're gonna Marvel scrapped the whole idea for the universe that was built around a character because of a misdemeanor while hiring Robert Downey Jr. to come back and reprise another role in the MCU. Not to mention that I just think it's also weak. dealisms to bring Doctor Doom, make Robert. Now, there's an argument to be made, and this is going to be the deep comic book nerds. There's an argument to be made that there is a universe where Tony Stark has been Doctor Doom, but yeah, we still could have found someone different. Everyone wants to forget about him. You're right, and not only him. Right, infamous Iron Man. Right. I didn't want to get too in the woods on the people that might not be blurs like me. Man views on superhero. Man's views on superhero movies. Yeah, and I try to make them relatable to people who might not be as deep in the weeds as I am on. But it's just the idea that when we talk about institutional discrimination and racism, and these are issues that point to it. These are the attacks on Kamala Harris's blackness is rooted in racism, point blank. Maybe Ryan Reynolds can get cast as Mr. Sinister and Chris Rock as Onslaught. It might be cool for Tony Stark to be Doctor Doom. No, it's not. I mean, let me tell you something. Uh, I could take out some comic books right now and show you, right? But I am. It's not that Tony Stark. Tony Stark is a villain. I know some of y'all don't understand that. Tony Stark is a villain. Let's just stop having. Tony Stark and Batman are villains in their respective universes. Let's just stop acting like they're not. But the idea is not of the Tony Stark character. It's the Robert Downey Jr. reprising the role of Doom. I can't say reprising the role because I don't know if he's going to play Tony Stark that becomes Doom, or is he going to play Victor Von Doom? That I don't know what they're going with, but it's the idea that Disney always talks about diversity and how they're going to put diversity out and how they're going to expand, but they're still sticking with the same non-diverse formula that made the Avengers all white in the first place. Unfortunately, I think it will manifest as Impossible Man in the comics world. Yeah, that's my thing. My thing is that we get these companies that put out this idea of diversity or change or forward thinking, and besides gay white men, some of the most racist people I've ran into have been white fanboys of comic book bases, and they're also the most misogynistic people I see. The reason why they didn't like Carol Danvers, or they parted onto Brie Larson, is because they just don't like women. And I don't mean they like women in a way that they can never get women in, but they don't like women. And that's why you'll see strong characters in movies, period. Strong, especially when we deal with female characters and black characters in movies that have a certain amount of strength, they find that intimidating. And the Dora Milaje is no different than they are in the comic book. But people have a problem with though they're so aggressive, because what do people do when strong black women appear on the scene? They go for the normal tropes. They masculinize them in the sense that they can't be masculine and feminine. They can't be aggressive and feminine in the same sense that Okoye teaches you when her and her husband are fighting, and the charging rhino licks her. See, that's not something you're used to. And Ryman Kubler did that and show how you can show that. But white fanboys hate it because they're intimidated. They're intimidated by women, and they mask it, just like some men that happen to be black right now that are speaking out against voting for Kamala Harris. They're not doing it because they know anything about issues. They're doing it because the idea of a black woman being in charge intimidates them, and they have 3-inch dick energy. Yeah. For a man whose native tongue is Spanish to be able to put together a phrase like cultural genocide. My pain meds are kicking in. Have a great night. All right, Simply, thank you to Bright Hills, Robert Downey Jr. Right. A good quote. Yeah. But that is the issue. When I say the interconnectedness in this society of institutional racism is so woven into the DNA of this country that you can't separate all the institutions from it. Even institutions that you think may be having, um, like movies, just like the movie industry. And it just amazes me. We hear people talk about diversity in movies now. I can't believe that this character is, you're talking about a black Superman. There is a black Superman in DC. That tells me how many people read comic books. There is a black Superman in DC, but his, and then they'll talk about, well, if you made Black Panther white, you all would be mad. Black Panther's blackness is inherent to his storyline, so it wouldn't be the same character. And there is a white Panther in the Black Panther series that he adopts as a brother. Um, but they don't know these things because they see it. Just like getting bent out of shape that a fictional character that's half fish, half human, you make them black, and all of a sudden people lose their goddamn mind. You're literally talking about the race of a fictional mermaid. Yeah, suspension of the belief at the idea that this character has a tail and can swim in the depths of the ocean unaided. Oh, fine, but they're black. Oh no, no, right. But anyway, thank you all. How are y'all doing tonight? I hope you all have enjoyed the conversation. It is almost midnight here. And I know a lot of y'all have to get up and go to work tomorrow, and I don't have 12 hours to spend online during the daytime, so I enjoy these conversations. They were debating the Japanese on the sun. Yeah, yeah, right. I know that some of you all have things to get up and do in the morning. We have to also get up and do things. You know, the morning's busy. I have to be at the gym. And then we have to be out in the world and helping those who can't help themselves. Think about it. If you would like to donate to the cause, this is the Cash App right here. Subscribe to the channel. That helps. Um, we feed those who have the homeless. We help out we help women who have been displaced by violence, and we just find causes to make sure we participate in. And anything you can do to help, greatly appreciated. Sharing, all that helps. Watching the videos, all that helps. Because every extra bit of money I go to, we make sure we do good with it. Because we have done enough to take from society that it's time. Um, I sent that guy's Insta to you on Insta. Okay, I will look. Give Bella her apple pie. Dun dun dun. She has one. She's had one already. Yeah, she's had one already. Yeah, since I know she's gonna. And I'm gonna tell you, if it, and I made the video, but it was bulk. Also, it was unsealed. If it's in the package, Bella doesn't tear things open to eat. I could leave my plate um here, and you can't do that around Pinky. If you walk out of view of Pinky and you leave your food there, she's gonna eat it. But Bella, she's trained. She doesn't eat anything I usually don't give her or put in her bowl, except apple pies. That's her weakness. I guess that's her weakness. If I leave an apple pie open, she's gonna find a reason to go into the room, into the man cave, or wherever it's at, and she's gonna eat it. And then she's gonna look at me like, "I'm sorry," and I'm not gonna do anything except, I can't believe you ate my apple pie. But even though I know you ate the apple pie, but that's the only thing she does. That's her one thing. She's going to eat the apple pie. All right. So thank you all for joining me tonight. I will see you all. Um, See you all tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Same bad time. Change that channel. Now I might go earlier. When I get in, it depends on what time Trump goes live with this news conference that he has planned tomorrow. I probably will broadcast that, because I like to dissect in things in real time with you all and chop it up, and go over that. But we will, if it's early enough, I will broadcast it and we will chop it up. I know I don't like cutting into y'all daytime TikTok. What are those things called that they used to do in the '80s with Ricky Lake? What, talk shows? I know a lot of daytime talk shows be going on, and people be pretending they doing something they not. Anyway, but if it comes up, I will share it if y'all want to join me and we can have a breakdown for it. If not, I'll see you tomorrow, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time. And y'all do your thing and be good to each other. and do a random act of kindness. That's what I'm challenging you tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I want you to come in here and tell me what your random act of kindness was for the day. All right? Peace. We out of here.